Welcome aboard everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. I wanted to talk about today a project called bloXmove, BLXM, but also like an integration really with some other projects that we talk about quite often. So this is actually really interesting, this one to me, and I will definitely be investing at some point in the near future on this one. The reason being, we talk a lot about in various videos around AI and IoT, just from my background and experience in the real world of understanding this sector significantly. And we talk about a lot of projects, particularly like Energy Web Token, where we're talking about the tokenomics of energy moving forward, even going as far as when all these EV cars are on the smart grid, as it were. And you'd basically be able to drive around. You could share tokenomics when you pass people's houses through the whole mechanism of Web3. And there's a multitude of different things, smart grid application, effects of course, the energy aspects as well, renewable energy and community tokenomic sharing. But also from the IoT AI aspect, we talk about IOTA, IoTX, but IOTA in particular, because of this particular project that we're talking about right now. IOTA very much heavily involved in the AI IoT aspect of ensuring essentially the mechanism of anything and everything connected to the internet working harmoniously together on the blockchain environment. So we'll go to that in a bit more detail in a second. But bloXmove here, guys, is really interesting. So currently it's trading around $8.42. Unfortunately, I haven't got anything on TradingView system that I've got. So we've just got coin market cap here. But I just wanted to give you sort of a relative indication as to where we've come from with bloXmove since it sort of originated. Only actually, I believe, quite recently. And we'll go into a bit more detail around the tokenomics and how this company's come about, because it really is fascinating, especially if you're a fan of like XDC or Corda, IOTA products and Energy Web. There's a multitude of different ones, to be honest, but we've had a bit of fluctuation up and down. But this is one of those projects, it reminds me a bit like Phantom, right? So it's kind of like under the radar, but it's actually got such a substantial infrastructure in place and ability for in 5-10 years time and beyond. This is the kind of application and project that is going to interlace anything and everything that we pretty much talk about on a regular basis here on the Whales of Wall Street. So currently at the moment it's available on Dodo via the Binance smart chain on a multitude of different pairings, but also on PancakeSwap and Uniswap. So for me, that's why I said I'm going to invest soon, because as you know, I'm very lazy when it comes to Uniswap and PancakeSwap, but I'm very much interested to see if this starts tailing off into other exchanges at some point in the near future. So just a brief overview as well, just to confirm. So previous low of $3.19 and all-time high of $12.70. That was literally 12 days ago. So there's been some movement. But in general, guys, I mean, market cap and the whole, essentially the sort of supply that's available is quite interesting also. So circulating supply of 950,000 currently, as a total supply of 50 million. Now, the tokenomics aspect is going to be very interesting to see how this develops over time, but let's just have a quick look at the intro of this. So the technology behind the mobility blockchain platform. Now, mobility is basically what it's trying to do is interlace a multitude of different services and aspects of mobility in your life, transportation. So, for example, and we've mentioned this before, again with like IOTA and other projects, where eventually one day you will go and book something, or you'll have a meeting scheduled, and the smart contract aspect of that will already done everything for you. It would have booked your flight, your transportation, anything else you need, your hotel, your food, based on your behavior and the trust mechanism inside behavioral statistics and data of your usability when you're using a smartphone left, right, and center. It creates this algorithm of yourself, and it pretty much know what you want to eat on what day and when and why, how, everything and everything you possibly think of. This is crazy to think about it in this way, but this is coming, and we're seeing the beginning of it. So, for example, you would like, for example, have a holiday or a trip, and what will you do is usually you'll have 6 or 7 different apps or different browsers that you're having to use to try and figure out what flight you need, then a taxi, insurance, and all of this stuff. The algorithm in particular from bloXmove is an application essentially pulling together loads of different APIs of different companies and partners and doing it within one transaction. So it basically give you a definitive price overall through one app and book everything for you in simultaneous fashion. So even to timings, you know, like, so obviously like flights arrive at certain times, and then and based on the algorithm of everything and data wise, say your plane's late, it changes everything else for you. You don't need to go, oh, when we land, we've got to sort this out. Oh, we're going to miss our ride. Doesn't matter. It's all going to be decentralized into a phenomenal system and protocol such as BlocksMove. Now, I'm sure there's others out there, but I'm really interested in this one for a number of reasons. And let's go into those in a second as well. But very excited to see how this develops, because of course, like the KYC aspect, the smart contract aspect, and DID, especially decentralized identification, is going to be really important aspects to how this all works. And the partners aspect is quite interesting, who they're sort of partnered with. So they're doing quite a lot with Energy Web Foundation, which we talk about a lot. They're talking to many sort of infrastructure and transportation governance systems across the world, but governments and councils and things like this. Moby we'll go into in a second as well. There's a load of other projects here that you may have heard of before. AW3 is quite big, to be fair, in terms of investors and things like that. There's a multitude of them. Look, all the scooters, everything you can possibly think of is behind this. But these guys have a massive relation with R3 Corda, who are obviously building an infrastructure in terms of blockchain mechanism for a multitude of different projects right now, particularly at institutional level. And working with like Zinfin, for example, on the private and public ledgers. So there's very much an infrastructure here of the DID that we've just mentioned, the DLT aspect in terms of the transactions performances and speed, and of which how this is all going to work. And of course, then you've got the integration of things like 4G, 5G, Web3, hotspots, and all these things coming into play as well. So Diamond Mobility AG, that's these guys here who are very much around this whole service aspect, providing an app-based solution to bring everything together. So there's all this stuff going on. It can sound a bit confusing, but look at that. That's pretty much how it is. Like your mobility app, it will do everything for you in one hit. Tell you your schedule, it will update it based on algorithms and things going on, or delays and this, that, and the other. It's absolutely brilliant. But what I loved about it was all this interaction with other projects. So R3 Corda is something we talk about a massive amount, especially with the link up with Zinfin. But it's very much this guy here, Chairman and CTO, Power of Mobility, BlocksMove, Harry Behrens. So he was very much the founder of Power of Mobility Limited, and has moved across to this new company called BlocksMove to take it to another level. Now, what's also interesting with this is the integration with Riddle and Code. Now, Riddle and Code is a phenomenal aspect to this. Okay, so Riddle and Code is essentially bringing all these other different things together to talk to each other. Okay, so when we look at, for example, I'm just going to go to the partners page. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy, and I absolutely love this. So you've got Deloitte, obviously, absolutely gigantic, system in place and global aspect of partnership and bridging. You've got IOTA, which is, we talk about this so many times, from the trusted data, the DID, the Tangle mechanism to allow things to work so fast, and it's such an amazing algorithm. I still can't get my head around how they're doing it, to be honest, but absolutely phenomenal. You've got mobile in terms of speeding up the exchange, and then you've got, like what we just mentioned about Dharma, Deutsche Telekom, so you're talking about like 4G, 5G aspects as well. And then we've got some other really interesting things here, Energy Web. So this is about the whole energy aspect. So remember we talked recently about, like we just mentioned earlier, about the cars, but actually the energy aspect of being able to share and distribute your own sort of energy tokens on a DLT to help others in your community, or get some money back off your bills by sharing the surplus energy that you've got. I mean, the list goes on, guys. It's absolutely mental. Of course, Intel and the likes are on here as well. Ocean Protocol, guys. Ocean Protocol, absolutely phenomenal. Leveraging the Ocean Protocol that allows business individuals to exchange and monetize data. So you can imagine, like, it's a massive headache. If you really think about it, there is a massive amount of stuff to think about here. And it's quite incredible, really, how it's all coming about. So I just thought I'd bring it to your attention really, because I think it's absolutely brilliant. And Riddle and Code are doing massive things to try and bring all of this together in a more interesting fashion. So you can see, for example, here, we'll just have a look at a couple of these. So like MyPower, blockchain-based energy tokenization platform, very much again around that sort of emphasizing green energy, the sharing of it, the use of solar and wind farms and this, that, and the other. Being able to essentially obtain these tokens and sell kilowatts, and you can get money off your bills or shopping, all of these kind of things, and integration of other aspects as well. It's really interesting to see how this goes, even to the point of like supply chain mechanism. We obviously do a lot about VeChain and things like that, but again, it's just bringing everything together on a complete system. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this all develops. But I just think it's absolutely genius. They've even bought out, we talked recently about the IOTA Pebble tracker, about obtaining data from people walking about in cars and stuff. But these guys are actually, from the mobility aspect, already engineered a device, what's it called, where you plug it in. It's not OEM or something, I can't remember what it's called. But you can plug this into your car, and it basically get all the data of your car that's available, absolutely possible. And you can share mechanism, you can earn interesting things from the data provided and all this kind of stuff. And it's just going into this whole tokenomics aspect of life. It's really quite fascinating how they're going to be doing all this. But back to this point of BlocksMove, I think the integration aspect of this is absolutely phenomenal. And you can really see how it's going to work. And even with the integration, what we said about energy, you could sell your energy and use that towards your travel and this, that, and the other. It's almost like another level of loyalty points, isn't it? Or play to earn, and all of this stuff that's coming out to fruition right now. Really taking the world and us as people to another level, and something that will speed up our lifestyle. It will speed up our life in general, both work, personal, business, whatever it is. Taking it to completely new realms of information, data transactions, energy reduction, all of this kind of stuff. And it brings more money to the economy. It brings more money to people's pockets, because you're taking away mediums, you're taking away intermediaries and stuff like this. Like it's crazy. So I'm going to do some more research on this project. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's literally bringing together some of my favorite projects in one place. And hopefully it will get more listings, but I just wanted to raise the awareness of it and get you guys thinking about what's achievable with BlocksMove moving forward, as well as the interactions with all these other fascinating projects that we already cover. But like I said, I'm super excited to see how this all develops, and more interestingly, see how it starts getting integrated. I would like to see the app working. I will do that and perhaps do a review on it in a couple of weeks' time. But look at that, bringing the world together, guys, through blockchain. These things are happening for sure, and you've got to prepare for them. And from our side, or my side in particular, I'm very invested in these kind of projects already, as you know, Energy Web and IOTA. Ocean Protocol isn't actually one I've got, but I'm very interested in obtaining that. But I'm very much interested in obtaining this one when it gets onto some decent exchanges. Can you imagine the price points when it starts hitting the big tier exchanges, guys, considering what it's capable of doing? So guys, we'll keep an eye out for it. I just wanted to bring it to your attention, have a bit of a thought process around it. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you holding this token? Are you holding any of the others that we've been talking about? Let us know what you think about the practicality of all of this. Do you like this kind of process of life moving forward? Or do you think that we're getting a bit lazy? Do you think we're going away from our principles of thinking and this, that, and the other? Or do you think you could welcome it because our lives are busy, we want to do different things and other things quicker, faster, cheaper? Let us know what you think in the comments below. We'll catch you in the next update on BlocksMove. I'm really looking forward to this one, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.